In Dark Souls 3, there's a grand total of 2 torches for you to find. If you're like me, you only see one of them on your average playthrough and don't even use it. Its only uses are to light up areas and get rid of leeches, which only come up in like 2 places in the whole game. The torch is also only available after beating Gundyr, so rather than just fist him to death, I gave it to myself early just to see what it can do. With a requirement of only 5 strength, any class can use it. Torch also has a simple moveset of swiping left and right with a thrust heavy attack. Also, in case you didn't know, it has split damage between fire and physical, and also has a descaling in strength. In Firelink, I get the Silver Serpent Ring and trick the Swordmaster into falling for me, which gets my fit in order, my vigor to 15, and my strength to 12 for a 1 damage increase. Descaling, I love it. At High Wall, I collect my binoculars and the Titanite I need to get my torch to +2. Also, I didn't know until now that the torch is in the shield category, so no backstabs. With a +2 weapon, I head to Vort, who didn't take a lot of damage. He seems like he'd be weak to fire, but he is definitely not. Thankfully, the charge attack to his head during his laser attack did some pretty nice damage. There's actually quite a few things that I need in Undead Settlement, such as the Small Leather Shield, Fire Clutch Ring, Flynn's Ring, and the Chloranthy Ring. I also dropped a dog down a hole, killed a fireboy with Seagbro, and used some more Titanite to get my torch to +3. I then decided to go to Crystal Sage, the strategy being to hit him until phase 2, and in phase 2 the strategy was to get rid of the clones and then hit him. So, simple. It is easiest also to do 1 to 2 charge attacks and 1-ish light attacks, and then he'll disappear and just repeat till you win. The reason for doing Crystal Sage was for Lloyd's Sword Ring and access to the DLC. You will know why I'm in the DLC in a second, but first I gotta get rid of Wilhelm. And I did nowhere near enough damage, so I also taught Wilhelm about gravity, my greatest friend and greatest enemy. The reason for that was because the follower torch is located after Wilhelm. The follower torch is basically a mace with a fire infusion. It has a descaling in strength and an E scaling and everything else. The scaling increases 1 letter after upgrading it to around +8, I think. It has split damage still, but has better physical attack than the torch. Also, unlike the torch, the follower torch is a weapon and has a weapon skill. That skill being Breathe Fire, which wasn't bad, kind of fun to use, and good-ish damage. With my new weapon, I went to the swamp for some Titanite, and up on the bridge, I got the 2 large shards and killed that one guy from Dark Souls 1. With that Titanite, I got the Follower's Torch up to +4. I don't remember why, but I just decided to go to Curse Rotted Greatwood. It wasn't too bad, considering that he's weak to fire. Then I did Abyss Watchers, which is where I found out that the Follower Torch can do backstabs. I didn't know that. I guess I should have expected it because it is in the weapon category, unlike the regular torch, which is in the shield category. The more you know. The reason for doing Abyss Watchers was so that I could go down a ladder and get front row seats to a fight. It was a close one for sure, but somehow the heavyweight champ beats the middleweight champ. Good job. Now, the real reason was for beating Piss Watchers was so that I could get the large Titanite that is down in Smoldering Lake, which got my torch up to +6. Now I need chunks, which are found behind Dancer. The strategy for Dancer was to use the vertical attack of the follower torch to stagger and get the riposte, and then just fight normally. Yeah. Now with access to chunks, I get the follower torch up to +9. Also, in case you didn't know, you can actually walk behind these guys to not have to deal with their attacks, and Fire Breath also worked really, really good for this. To get +10, I wanted the slab from Siegbro's questline, even though it would be easier to get the one from climbing the ladders after killing a tree in the painting. I definitely didn't forget about that one. There's 2 bosses in the way, but first I need to deal with Patches, who didn't die, I guess? Okay, we're good. For Deacons, the little ones actually died in 1 hit, which was incredibly convenient. And Breathe Fire did some great work when the big boss man came out. It has a lot of range and does quite a bit of damage. The next boss I need out of the way is Wolnir. And, well, oh, he's already dead. Well, that happened, I guess. On the way to get through Irithyll, I found a puppy, but he bit me, so I was forced to put him down. I then remembered to give Sigurd a concussion. Next, I opened some shortcuts in the dungeon and got a key as well. While I was down here, I needed to kill Yorm so Siegbro won't help me fight him later. It was the damage I was expecting. But, you know, I'm just good at this game, I guess. Now I continued Siegbro's questline and let him out of prison after he gave me a slab. With the slab, I now have a maxed out follower's torch. I almost forgot about Old Demon King, but I didn't. I kind of thought it wouldn't do great damage because he's resistant to fire, but it's +10, so it did pretty well. And I no-hit him with a fire weapon. Since I was still in the mood for side bosses, I went to Osiris. He wasn't too bad. I'm kind of figuring out his moveset, which makes this a whole lot easier. I kind of figured out how to deal with his charge, which he does after the swipes, and then spins around and yells at you. And that's a pretty easy way to get some damage off. Also, hitless Osiris. Gundyr. You know how it goes. And a stylish finish. Before I bully Pontiff, there is something I must do. Now, with that business attended to, Pontiff is going to get the Gundyr treatment. Also, his clone died in like one fire breath. Aldrich did kill me a few times because, unlike most times, this time he really spammed his magic orbs and refused to do anything else but run away. But, nonetheless, he is weak to fire. So, after I got a run where he decided to not run away, mostly, I won. With 5 bosses left, I decided to leave Archdragon Peak for later, which means time for DSA. It was pretty much just a standard melee fight, because that's all it was. It wasn't even really that bad of damage. It was just okay. I still don't need anything because I have a plus 10 weapon, so I ran past all the nerds to get to the cripple duo. They were not an issue. This torch is more like a fire-infused weapon rather than a torch, but the weapon title and description says that it's a torch, so it's a torch. I don't think I would recommend using it though, because there's plenty of better options for like anything. Now that I have the Lord Souls, I can go to Archdragon Peak. The Wyvern went exactly as you would expect because I can plunge attack. Easy boss. I'm also very familiar with Nameless King's moveset, both because of doing these DS3 challenge runs and also because of him being in Night Rain. Being able to see him all the time on the Dark Drift Night Expedition, I've got to fight him a lot and learn his moveset. Though I think he does feel oddly slower in Night Rain, I think. I almost did Nameless King hitless, but my R2 missed, and then I ran out of stamina because I was being greedy. It was close though. Now all that's left is Soul of Cinder. If he's gonna give himself another health bar, I'm gonna give myself another health bar. But his actually gives him less health, specifically 2,348 less health. Mine gives me 30% more. And I win. Review time. The pros of the regular torch. It can light up areas and get rid of leeches, and also has knockback capabilities, as you saw in Wilhelm. The cons: no range, bad damage, bad scaling, boring moveset, and no skill. The pros of the follower torch: okay damage, okay scaling, has weapon skill, has a moveset, can get rid of leeches, and can backstab. The cons of follower torch: bad range, okay damage, yes, it is a pro and a con, can't light up areas, and that about wraps it up. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that. Later.